Hey, I'm Brad Freeman. This is Franklin Boulevard Media. I'm a ninth generation Charlottean. Born and raised, currently still residing in Charlotte. I've had my pub in Gastonia for 15 years. So I grew up on about a 140-acre farm in the city of Charlotte. Mom and dad, and I have a younger brother, a couple years younger, and we basically grew up on my great-great-grandfather's land. So basically, my family came over from Ulster and County Cork in 1780s, and they came across to Virginia, and they took the wagon trail down. They settled in Charlotte with a lot of Scots Irish in a community called Still Creek in Charlotte. They ended up buying 3 or 4 lots of 40 acres and a mule. So I grew up on about a 140 plus acre farm. Now it was split up and divided 15 different times. But I mean, as early as 7, I started driving my grandfather's 69 F100 while we were baling hay. I worked on the farm every summer. That's what I spent my summers doing. So my grandfather and his 2 brothers, my great uncles, had working farms. They didn't do it because they wanted to make money. They did it because they didn't have anything else to do. They were retired. So Still Creek was a community. It was all Scots Irish in Charlotte. And there was only 5 families there before World War II. Growing up in Charlotte, I was bused everywhere to racially integrate. Charlotte was at a different point. I was born in 72. Which meant I grew up on a small little farm in South Charlotte. I got bused to West Boulevard, North Tryon and Clanton, went to Olympic. I actually was in their CAD program. I wanted to be an architect. 89 was the recession. So there were no jobs for architects, which is what I wanted to be. So I became a chemical engineer, went to Belmont Abbey. Came out of there, did not like practical applications of chemical engineering. So I ended up following suit with what my mother did. So I went into corporate banking for another 14 years. I spent, and I did that till 07, till the next recession hit. And then didn't know what else to do. So the only other thing I knew how to do was to sling drinks, and started bartending and worked at a place called Terrapins at Tryon and Westinghouse for about 1.5 years. They tried to sell me the bar. I didn't want to buy it. I ended up getting an offer for this place here, and that was in 09 we opened, and we're in our 15th year. We moved to Gastonia because we owned a house in Charlotte and over at Park and Woodlawn, right beside we live in Madison Park beside Myers Park, and they started encroaching on the back of our property. So we rented that property out, moved over here to Yorkchester, bought a property. I was still working at the bank, and then I got laid off. So we had to she left her corporate job and opened her own self-employed business. I lost my job and had to create one. I went through unemployment and a whole bunch of retraining sessions that kept going to Freightliner, So I basically was like, you know what? I figured out how to do my own job. We were in Manhattan. We went for a wedding, and friends of mine left a business card for me and a present for my wife at our B&B. And the business card said Freemans, and there was a English countryside restaurant on Freeman's Way, or Freeman's Alley, in Manhattan between the Battery and the Wharf. And it's still there today. And it had like a barber shop, a rustic men's outdoor shop, and a kind of almost like a bar and restaurant. And I was like, I guess it's calling. So when I got back, I was like, hey, talked to the landlords, like, hey, have you ever had this place come available? Which at that point was called Furia Tropical, which was which was every bit of bright colors, Spanish food, more Tex-Mex. And 4 days later, he's like, yep, it's yours. So at that point, I had to figure out where to get capital, how to start it up, get it done. So I called in a couple of friends, and 2 months later, we had the place knocked out, built out. And we've done 3 iterations of what the pub looks like now. We'll probably have 2 more before it's over. So when I came downtown, there's only 2 things. Tequila's had been here a long time, and Miles Restaurant had been here a long time. And that was it. There was nothing else. Except for attorneys' offices and bail bondsmen. We've always touted ourselves as good music, good beer, and good whiskey. We run our own race. I don't try to compete against macro bars, micro bars. I don't try to be everything to everybody. We're just your neighborhood pub. And long and short, we just kind of work what we do well and not worry about what everyone else is doing well. You know, we're chasing our own self, not chasing somebody else. I've been through almost 40 restaurants and bars since I've been down here. And the truth of the matter is that they were great places. I wish they were still here. One of those included would be, you know, our coffee shop that didn't make it. So it's not like I don't include myself in that. I know that for every 100 hours I work on the front of the house, I got to work another 100 hours in the back of the house and promote the place. It never ends. It's never going to, and you've always got to promote yourself. You always got to recreate yourself in some way. Every 3 years you get, you know, a mass exodus of customers. You get a whole new round of customers. So you've got to readjust what it is. I try to make the focus on neighborhood friendly and go from there. And when we need to make adjustments, we do it in a 90-day metric. And that's my entire plan the entire time. So let's figure out what works for the next 90 days. If that doesn't work, then we'll readjust and do it for another 90 days. So we've done everything from, we've done everything from concerts live in the street when the city canceled them, put them on ourselves. We've hosted everything from a prom for a shelter that supported mothers, homeless mothers, to LGBTQ drag night years ago to support kids who are being bullied from one of the local Episcopal churches. We used to do a lot of charities. Our biggest focus is making sure that people know that we're in the community and that we're here to support them. Now, we may not always support them in the way they want, which is family friendly. We're family accessible, but we're a Irish pub first and foremost. It's beer and alcohol, and that's where we start. And cool. We pride ourselves on being the place where every walk of life can come out, enjoy their night, not worry about having a problem inside or outside. And pretty much I've always said, like, if you want to be a problem, there's 50 other bars somewhere else between here and Charlotte. Just go to one of those. This is not the one. So we've done 4 movies and 3 TV shows. We've done Homeland, Banshee, another series, more like straight to internet. Then we've done Bad Grandpa with Paramount. We did a Ricky Schroeder movie. We did another Lifetime movie. But it was some pretty cool things. Most memorable, honestly, will always be the Johnny Knoxville Bad Grandpa movie with Paramount, only because there was 80 people upstairs, another 15 to 20 people with Johnny Knoxville in my wife's coffee shop. My entire staff had to sign non-disclosure acts, weren't allowed to discuss it. But yeah, and when it was all said and done, that was the drunkest I've ever been in my life, drinking with the crew. I think 9 car bombs and tequila shot and a couple Guinness in about 45 minutes. Yeah. My advice for someone coming downtown is have your plan, work your plan your way. Don't worry about whatever else someone says. Make sure you've got enough capitalization to get you through. But for the most part, stand out, be your own. Don't try to be anybody else. And truth is, if you feel like this is where your business should go, then you should follow your intuition. I've always followed mine. Even when I'm wrong and I fail, great, I learned a lot from it. But that's why I do things in 90-day metrics. What's next for Freemans Pub is we will probably renovate this place again soon. More patio area, more stuff, more games, more things for people to enjoy themselves while they're here. We'll probably look at expanding and opening another 1 or 2 locations in the next year or so. I think the growth of Gastonia right now is huge. I think this is the only place left around Charlotte, which is the west side, that hasn't really blown up and gone overboard. I mean, you can look at Lake Norman, Huntersville, it's over the top. Fort Mill, Rock Hill, east side towards Waxhaw, Mint Hill, Matthews. Gastonia really hasn't. And it's finally starting to come this way. And it's just everything from the new baseball stadium to all the construction to next door. And this is like the fledgling kind of place like Plaza Midwood, like it was 20 years ago. hopefully it doesn't turn into corporate. And there's nothing, not that I'm saying it doesn't deserve to work with a corporate organization, but corporate just kind of changes things. Let Gastonia be Gastonia. You know, if you haven't tried Gastonia in a long time, then you should. Because it's not Belmont, it's not Charlotte, it's its own animal, and it's safe, and it's loving, and it's a great environment. You've got places like ourselves, and CityCade, and Peter Wheel, and Cavendish, and the Rooster, and the Poorhouse, and the Webb, and the list goes on. You've got Mika's, you've got the hotel with their restaurant Esquire, and I mean, it just continually goes on, and I'm hoping there are going to be more and more down the line. We have been very, very lucky to have such a great supporting community. I can't be more thankful. Everything from city government to the police to everyone from St. Michael's and every Catholic in this town to just everyone local from the surrounding area, from BC, from Dallas, from Belmont, who come over here and they're like, hey, I've never been here, and wow, 15 years later I find out this place is here. And everyone comes in, it's a joyous, kind of nice, chill, laid back kind of place. Now it does get wild, but everyone looks out for each other, which is one of the things I really love here. I've got a great staff, they're very supportive. So very blessed to have this group of people around me. And I'm very thankful every day.